What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GG Gaming. I am your host, Andrew, and with me I have Alpha Stoutland.
What's up, guys?
So, Alpha, you haven't been on in a little while.
It's been a while. It's been 3,000 years.
3,000 years since I've been last on. What have you been
It's good to be back. I have been busy. I still have not got the room done because I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and working on the Shantae video, which I finally got uploaded today. Glad that's finally out of the way for you guys, and just I'm proud of it, but I'm glad it's behind me because I have so much more stuff I want to do on the channel now.
I actually just watched it before we recorded.
Okay, did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
Sweet, cool. But Kingdom Hearts 3 has been amazing so far. I'm at the last, quite literally the last world you can go to, and I'm about to prepare for the final battle, and I am super stoked for that because I still have questions I need to get answered, and I'm just very excited to see where it goes. So no spoilers in the comments, guys. Maybe next week I'll have it finished.
Yeah,
we can talk about it then.
But
it's just been,
No, I was gonna say what we were talking about before we started recording was that we're considering doing some kind of discussion video that would be full of spoilers. So be separate from the podcast.
Be like a Kingdom Hearts centric podcast. So
like
for all you KH fans,
yeah, because there's a lot of questions and theories that I have, and I don't know if you have questions that I could probably answer because you haven't played all the games. So
right, yeah.
Which ones did you play?
2, most of Chain of Memories, and now 3, all the way through. I started and got to Tarzan's World in Kingdom Hearts, but those are the only ones I played all the way through. I've watched my brother play most of 358 Days Over 2, Birth by Sleep. I watched him play pretty much all of Birth by Sleep, so I kind of have the gist of that story, and so when I saw Aqua, Ventus, and Terra's story arcs in 3, I kind of had an understanding of what went on. You know, Terra got his heart torn out by Isaiah Norton, his body's taken over, and now he's got his heart, or his mind is in that suit of armor. He's got Ventus lost his heart when he fought with Vanitas, and then Aqua's in the Realm of Darkness for a whole decade, which I didn't know it was a decade until you find her in this game. But it's just...
That's mostly right.
Yeah.
Well, she's been in there for like a year in the Realm of Light, but time works differently in the Realm of Darkness.
Oh.
So, no, sorry. She's been in there for 10 years in the World of Light, but from her perception, it's been 1 year, I think.
Really?
Yeah, that's why she's not that much older looking.
Okay, because I was talking to my brother about that. I was like, how did they not age that? I mean, because Sora grew a lot in that amount of time, and then Aqua looks I mean, of course, she's not like an old woman. I mean, she's probably mid-20s, early 30s, but she didn't look like
she's like...
What, 18?
Maybe about 18 or something.
Okay.
I gotta double check.
Terra might be 20, 22 or something.
Yeah, I think Terra's about 20-ish. So...
But yeah, it was really cool to see them. I mean, I don't want to go into spoiler territory because I know a lot of people haven't finished. Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have finished the game by now. I'm just a sorry Kingdom Hearts fan that hadn't had the time to sit down and play it. But I've loved the Disney Worlds, man. And I want to wait till we go into discussion to talk about Kingdom Hearts, because I know you want to talk about what you've been up to. But I was saying loving it so far
because I want to talk about Kingdom Hearts, but yeah,
But besides that, I do have to tell you before we go on to what you've been doing. What else I've been doing on the channel? Obviously, my Sora video is coming up, but there's another character that I wanted to do a video for, and I think you're gonna like this, Drew. I don't know if you see my community tab or not, but
no.
I announced that I'm going to be doing a Banjo and Kazooie video.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm actually pretty dead set they're going to happen now because of some evidence and speculation. Of course, obviously it's speculative evidence, but just some stuff that's pretty much convinced me that they're going to be in, and hopefully it won't be like Shantae all over again. But I really think that there's stuff pointing to their inclusion. So I want to talk about that in a video because I feel like they're one of the characters that's on people's minds right now, especially in the Smash community. And with you and Brandon and so many other people I know that want them as characters, I was like, man, this would be a great way to do a little, learning more about a character that my friends know about, and also a little bit of fan service to my fans and subscribers. So plus they're just fun characters. I've really underestimated them for a long time, and so I'll get to talk about them, and that's going to be cool. So I think you particularly like that.
If they wind up if they wind up actually doing that Xbox on the Switch, and then Banjo-Kazooie winds up being playable, then you might finally be able to play those games.
Very true. I'm very excited for that possibility
Yeah.
too. Maybe they do like a remastered, like the Spyro and Crash trilogies. That would be cool. And they come out and there's a Banjo 3 in production. So
I think they kind of did that already on the Xbox 360.
oh yeah, it was like the Xbox Classics. I think I saw a trailer
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I forgot last week to say that I had seen the movie Alita: Battle Angel, because it was a manga that I had always wanted to read, and I had never gotten around to it. And so when I saw that a movie was coming out of it, I was like, oh, this is my opportunity to kind of like get into that series. So I saw the movie and absolutely loved it, and so I immediately started reading the manga. So
Cool.
The movie got me into the manga, so I'm like 6 books in. And
Dang.
it's pretty awesome. I'm like,
Okay.
why does this not have an anime? Like, it has an OVA, but it doesn't cover the whole series. It's only, I think, the beginning. So, you know, I want them to make a whole series based on this manga now. But it's good.
Okay.
There's a lot of...
It looked cool. It really did.
There's a lot of differences between the manga and the movie, but the movie, I think... differences work in its favor. So, but there's a little like
a different plot line, or almost like different artistic licenses.
Mostly the same plot line, but there's some
just different artistic approaches and stuff.
Different decision, like in the movie, the berserker body she gets, she winds up coming across, and in the manga, she doesn't come across it. Somebody gives it to her. And then, so there's little changes like that, where there's like the way things unravel are different in the movie compared to the manga. But the overall plot is the same, but the, like kind of like the path to that, the means to the end is kind of different, I suppose.
Okay. Basically the same destination, different path.
Yeah.
Kind of.
The overall story is very similar. The movie covers, I think, the first 2 volumes. But within those, even some of the fights happen a little differently, too. Like, kind of out of order. It's a little strange. I don't remember the name of one of the bad guys in the movie, but I don't remember if that's the same name as one of the characters in the manga, or if he's like a new character that they made. He has similar powers, but then like the way he gets the powers are a little different, and it's like, it's a little different. And then they kind of, were building up this main villain in the movie. And in the manga, he hasn't really done any of the stuff that he's done in the movie. Like, I just met this guy, and I'm like, this guy doesn't, like, in the movie, throughout the movie, he kind of, like, speaks through people who have, like, I guess through, like, whatever, cybernetics or something, so he kind of takes over their mind and, like, talks to the main character or to whoever. But he does not do that in the manga at all, at least not where I'm up to. So, they kind of take their own liberties, it seems like, but the overall experience is like the same overall plot, but when you break the plot down, they're very different.
Okay.
So, I take it for what it is, as an adaptation, and I liked it, you know?
It was one of those movies that grabbed my attention. I'm waiting to see the Lego Movie 2, the second part. I want to see that so bad. I just love the first one, and so that's between the two. My friends were trying to get me to go, and I was just like, I kind of want to see that, but Lego Movie though.
I haven't seen any Lego Movie.
It's really the first one. I haven't seen Ninjago, and I haven't seen Lego Batman. I've heard Lego Batman is amazing, but the first Lego Movie with not Flynn, what's his name? Emmett as the main character with Chris Pratt, dude, it's such a good movie. Like, I have some friends that don't like it because it is more on the silly side. It's not really kids centric. Thankfully, there is some not adult humor, but jokes adults will get. But it's just a fun ride, and just the characters in it. I mean, Will Arnett's Batman's crazy, and I love Unikitty. I'm a big fan of Unikitty. She's adorable and hilarious. and it's just a good movie. It's just a fun ride, the whole movie. So I'm looking forward to the second part. It's literally called the second part, and I love how just random that is. And of course, news this week, we got another Detective Pikachu trailer, and I'm psyched for that.
I like it. I like that trailer.
Dude, all the Pokemon, dude, Lickitung and Snorlax and Machamp, and there's so many cool looking Pokemon, dude. I'm so psyched for it.
I saw somebody say on Twitter something that I didn't even think about, but they seem to be giving spotlight to a lot of underrated Pokemon. And
yeah.
I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, that's true, and that's awesome.
Yeah, Mr. Mime. I saw Apom. I had to pause it at first because I was like, yeah, I saw Golurk too, and I was like, oh cool, this is Golurk. I thought it was actually like a billboard thing in the background, but I was like, oh wait, that's Golurk. But I had to pause on Apom because I was like, what Pokemon is this? Because I saw the teeth and it was such an uncanny valley thing. I was like, who is this? And I had to look and I saw the ears and the purple fur. I was like, ooh, that's Apom? Ugh. It kind of freaked me out. But I mean, hey, if it's a realistic Pokemon, it has to have teeth. So
creepy Pokemon.
Yeah. But Mr. Mime still looks like just a gas. He looks like he's going to be a fun character.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to this movie. I do want to be apprehensive about it, but man, it's Pokemon. I'm excited. I just want to see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll bring in maybe new fans. And I don't quite know who would be seeing the movie if they don't like Pokemon or don't know what it is, but at the same time, I feel like it might be something that parents of kids might enjoy if like they bring the kids to the movies. I mean, I'm a fan of Pokemon, so I think I'm going to enjoy this movie.
Yeah, I think even if it's cheesy and bad, I mean, it's just there's Pokemon in CGI in really tremendous detail. That's really cool. So I'm hoping it has a great story and humor and stuff. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is crazy, and he's a pretty good actor, I got to say. It was weird to hear his voice come out of Pikachu, but he seems to be doing. Yeah, it is. It's very uncanny, but it's just. When he did the whole "or I will electrocute you" line, I was just like, okay, I'm sold. This is fun. So I think he was an interesting pick, but definitely a good pick. So,
yeah, I'm excited for the movie, and I know nothing about the game, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I played the demo, and it was kind of I wouldn't buy it, honestly. I don't think it's worth $40. But the demo was fun. I mean, it was okay. But just to see Charizard and Mewtwo and Psyduck and Jigglypuff and Snorlax and all these other great Pokemon in 3D, in CGI, it looks so cool. It's still weird seeing some of them furry like Jigglypuff and Pikachu, but if it's in a realistic sense, I mean, it makes sense. So it's really cool to see that actually become reality in a way.
Right. Yeah, it seems to not be taking itself too seriously with certain things, and I think that works in its favor.
Because at the end of the day, it's still a kid's franchise. I mean, you got to have some fun with it. So.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's something that the Marvel movies do very well, where they kind of don't take themselves too seriously, so you kind of are able to laugh along with it in terms of what might be stupid. And it's kind of like, at the end of the day, we're having fun, you know? So the trailers for Pokemon seem to give off that vibe, and it's kind of like more enjoyable when it's not taking itself too seriously for that kind of movie. I feel like if it was trying to take itself seriously, like a lot of the DC movies do, then it might flop.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited about Shazam. That's another movie I want to see because it's one of those, like you said, it's a superhero movie that just is fun. And I love Zachary Levi anyway. He's great as Flynn Rider. I love the dude. And when I first saw him in this, I was like, holy crap, Zach Levi is this. And he just looks like Shazam. And like I said, I just love the dude. And he just looks like he's going to be tons of fun in this movie. It just looks like it's his role. And that's the first DC movie besides Wonder Woman that really caught my attention. My sister and her husband have seen Wonder Woman and said it's amazing. I've yet to see it, but I want to see it. But first I want to see Shazam because that movie, more than Batman v Superman, more than Justice League, it just was like, I want to see this. It reminded me of a Marvel movie, and that's a good thing.
Was Aquaman good?
I've heard it was amazing. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I hope that means DC found out how to make their DC movies. Because
they don't need to make them all dark and edgy like edgelord. You need to just have fun with it, just like Marvel's been doing. So because you can have those dark, mature themes intertwined with fun and humor. So
yeah, I think I'm behind on that cinematic universe. Last one I saw was maybe Wonder Woman, or
I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen a single one. I haven't even seen Man of Steel.
I saw Man of Steel. I saw Batman vs Superman. I saw the Suicide Squad, and I saw Wonder
I do want
Woman.
to see Suicide Squad.
So I guess the ones I haven't seen are Justice League and Aquaman.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I don't know if there's any others I'm missing.
I think they're just starting pretty much. So I think that's it right now.
Yeah. As for Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm pretty caught up.
I'm missing Black Panther. I think it's just Black Panther and Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's it. Everything else I'm watched. So
I like make sure to watch them in order. So I don't want to like watch one if I haven't watched one that I was supposed to watch beforehand. So like like in your case, I wouldn't have watched Avengers Infinity War Part 1 without having seen Black Panther. You know, it's like I want to make sure that I know what's going on.
Yeah, because I was a little lost when they were in Wakanda. I was like, I don't know anybody but T'Challa here. So, but it was still cool. I mean, as much as I was going in blind, not knowing Ant-Man, Wasp, and Black Panther, it was still a great movie. It was awesome.
Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp is after Infinity War Part 1.
True, yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in Endgame. He's going to be fun. But I don't know. Infinity War, because it ended on such a cliffhanger. It was like, I want more. I need more information. I need to know what happens. And Endgame looks like it's going to be those where it smashes everyone is here. It looks like Marvel's going to be everyone dies. So I'm not looking forward to that because I have this sinking feeling that Tony is going to die. I just either Tony or Steve, maybe both. I'm regrettably looking forward to it because I can't wait to see this movie. But I know a lot of people are going to die for real, not with the Thanos snap, but for real.
Yeah.
So maybe. I feel like Tony Stark is going to be one of those, and I hate it because I love Robert Downey Jr. as him.
Yeah,
he is so awesome. Literally Tony Stark in the flesh. So he owned that role, dude. I mean, more than any other superhero character, he is Tony Stark by now. It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
How his persona has just leached into Tony and fed back into him. It's just so cool to see him own this role. I like Robert
really
Downey Jr.
disappointed if like we don't see him anymore as Iron Man.
I mean, obviously he's almost 60, so you have to kind of cut it off sometime. But it's one of those you hate to see him go situations.
I wonder what his thoughts on it are. I really haven't researched it, so maybe he's spoken about it and I just haven't heard. But I really wonder what his perspective on it is, if he wants to continue doing it or if he's tired of it. I don't know.
Yeah, because he has to have some kind of passion for it to stick with it this long, besides just contractual stuff. But it's going to be a good year for movies, period. I mean, we got Toy Story 4, Endgame, Detective Pikachu. There's just so many movies I'm excited for this year, dude.
Sonic.
The
interesting thing, chronology-wise, is that Ant-Man and the Wasp seems to take place either simultaneously or right before Avengers Infinity War Part 1. So it's strange that it's like the first movie that was released outside of order, I guess. Because like the end leads into like the end of Avengers. So I guess technically you have to see Avengers first, but it kind of explains where Ant-Man was during Avengers. So you're kind of like, oh, okay, he's kind of doing his own thing. But at the same time, it's like, it's not in chronological order anymore.
That's how Far From Home's going to be. So I was wondering, I was like, wait, Spidey's already back, but it's the bus they're taking, apparently at the end of the movie, is exactly the same bus that they're riding at the beginning of Infinity War back into New York. So so it's a prequel.
I have a bit of a theory that I don't know if they're going to do or not. I have a theory that when Spider-Man returns, since he was in space, that will be their reason to bring the Venom symbiote into the cinematic universe. But I also don't know if they would want to do that when they have their own standalone Venom movie series that seem like they're going to be turning into a series now. That also has no connection to the cinematic universe. So
That is true.
I don't know if they would want to confuse audiences by having Venom in Spider-Man in the cinematic universe and then having another standalone Venom series that has nothing to do with it.
Which is Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man series still going on, or is it ended with 2? Okay.
No, that's over.
Okay. So say, because if they're having the Sony Spider-Man and the Disney Spider-Man together, but that makes sense that they would cut that off, because Sony did help make Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, so that makes sense that they would pour their efforts into one Spider-Man series instead of 2. And then, of course, Into the Spider-Verse, which also I have not seen yet, but I want to.
Well, the strange thing is, in the Venom movie, there's no mention of Spider-Man at all.
Yeah.
Or at least, if there is, it was probably a cameo or something, because I didn't catch it at all.
I missed it too.
They seem to kind of have made their own, like, standalone series unrelated to Spider-Man with Venom.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is... Venom takes place in New York City, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So
maybe Eddie's in a different suburb and he moves to another area and then meets Spider-Man and it's like, enemy. But
I do like, I forget the actor's name, the guy who played Venom.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, I do like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. I gotta say, I think he played that role pretty well. And I did like the Venom movie, and I am excited to see more. Especially the parts when they're kind of having fun with it. Like, there's the scene in the trailers where he's kind of like, you know, I'm gonna eat your face, and then your arms, and then your legs, and you'll be this faceless, armless, legless thing
rolling down the street.
And it's like, that's the kind of stuff I love when you can see that the actors are clearly having fun.
Yeah.
And I was like waiting for that moment in the whole movie, and then I think it was at the very end.
It was it was like the last minute,
to like show that like he's still going on with it. And I loved it. And I have a tendency to enjoy pretty much every movie. So like the DC movies that people hated, I thought were good. Like, I guess I could kind of see why some people didn't like them, but I still enjoyed them. And I think I kind of spoke about this with Pappuccino last week, where I kind of treat things as an adaptation separate from the main thing, which is kind of difficult for some people to do, I guess, because they want things to be what they liked about the original. Whereas for me, I'm just like, okay, show me this alternate take on this character, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of disconnect it. The same thing, like, going back to what I was saying before about Alita, like, it's an adaptation of the manga, so it's not the same Alita, it's not the same characters, it's like an alternate universe, maybe, you know? So
that's kind of how I am because not every movie someone else likes you're going to like, and just because something's popular and has rave reviews on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever doesn't mean it's a good movie. It just means those reviewers liked it. I've seen so many people hate on, because I love Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was amazing. Still have yet to see Dark Knight Rises. I want to. Again, just got to get to it. But I loved Batman and Robin, and everybody knows that as the movie with George Clooney and the bat nipples. I mean, but I still loved it. It was a great movie. And George Clooney was a good Batman, in my opinion. I thought it was really good. And Val Kilmer was a great Batman. Jim Carrey killed it as the Riddler. Just the movies everybody else seems to hate on. It's just like, Jim Carrey is the Riddler, and he did really good. And I did like George Clooney as Batman. It's just preference, honestly. I mean, because I'm sure people thought Ben Affleck would be a killer Batman, and then he's just too edgelord for Batman to be.
Yeah, but that's also not his fault if that's the direction he was given.
True.
Like, if he might have played the direction perfectly, and it's whoever gave him the direction is to blame. So it's unfortunate that it falls on him, seemingly, because he is the one who played the role. But it's like, somebody filmed that and said this was good. So
very true,
they're the one to blame, kind of, you know? So.
But yeah, when I first saw him as Batman, I was like, what? It just, more than Christian Bale, more than George Clooney, it was just, Ben Affleck? Really? Just
I liked the result, but going in, I was like, okay, how is this gonna work?
okay.
But again,
Because he's definitely a darker, moodier Batman, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I think in the DC universe, cinematic universe, I think it's taking place after Batman. Like, this is like after he's already been Batman and everything. So like the Batman series or whatever, his adventures as Batman and like Joker and stuff, like that's in the past. And so he kind of like returns as Batman. And if that's the intention, they didn't really explain that well, I think.
Okay.
Because it seems to like be the start of other heroes like Wonder Woman and stuff. But then it's like, I've been Batman for a long time and then I disappeared and now I'm returning. It's kind of like, oh, okay. So, you know, it's not like, the introduction to every character. It's kind of like the introduction to some characters, and at least Batman has always been there.
Yeah.
Because I think in Suicide Squad they kind of hinted at that, because Joker and Harley Quinn, there was like a flashback scene where they were wearing their old outfits from the cartoons. So he had his purple outfit, and I don't think he had any of the tattoos. And Harley Quinn had like that red and black outfit, like the Jester outfit or whatever that she wears in the cartoons.
The actual Harley Quinn
so,
outfit.
You know, what I took away from that was that, okay, so this is like the whole quote-unquote Batman series, or whatever, like, you want to call, like, Batman's adventures as Batman, like, that had happened already. Like, he had already fought with Joker multiple times, or at least once, and all that stuff is in the past, and then he kind of, like, quote-unquote retired as Batman, and now he's kind of coming back, and that's also why he's, I guess, a little bit more vicious, because he's kind of, like, not the same. He's not the same. Well, I don't know about begrudgingly, but he's kind of like not the same Batman that he was. I think his mentality changed. That was my takeaway from it, and I kind of thought that was interesting. Like, I thought that was pretty cool, because it was kind of like we've never seen that in a Batman movie. Batman always takes place during his adventures. You know, it's like it's the rise of Batman, and like. You know, here's his story as he becomes Batman. And then, like, this new DC Cinematic Universe version is like, oh, he's coming back. Like, he's done this already. So I just thought that was a really neat twist. And it's like, maybe the execution was bad because people didn't like it. But I thought the intention behind it was really unique. So.
Okay. So it's almost like the take of, instead of the rise of Batman, it's the Batman that
it's like the
has
re-rise.
gone through hard trials, that he's become bitter.
Yeah.
And he's just become just kind of encased in his own like personal demons and stuff. So okay.
So I guess Joker being different kind of makes sense, because it's like he's not the same. Like, everybody kind of changed in a sense. Mm-hmm. So it kind of makes sense when you think of it, like, because people are like, oh, that's not the Joker. Joker doesn't have tattoos and stuff. It's like, that's true, but this is like the future of that Joker. So it's like, this is a take on like the future of that Joker. So when you think about it that way, it's kind of like makes sense. Like, he turned into this guy, you know? And I know this is a gaming podcast and we're talking about movies, but that's okay. Having fun.
It's all nerds.
I've never actually really
stuff,
talked about the DC Cinematic Universe like ever. So
yeah,
that's why I was kind of like talking about it and enjoying it, because like I've never talked to anyone about this.
Mm-hmm. That's like, is it the DCU or the DCCU?
I don't know. There's already a problem with DC Comics, and that's the fact that C stands for comics. So it's like, I forget what D stands for, but it's like something comics. So it already doesn't make sense to begin with. So that's like saying ATM machine.
Yeah.
It's like machine.
Very true, yeah.
So it must have been, they must have, whatever it was in the past, it must have, they shortened it to DC, and then eventually we're just like, just tack comics onto it, you know, because people know this as DC and their comics. But anyway, I forgot what games we were talking about before that we were going to talk about, and I don't remember.
Kingdom Hearts.
I want to talk about Kingdom Hearts, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, that's...
I can say some stuff without spoiling things. I could be very careful about what I say. And it's stuff we can elaborate on when you beat it and we maybe have a discussion on it. Mm-hmm. But some of the questions were like, Like, there's a character that kind of returns and nobody understands, like, nobody sees, like, how did this how did this character return when, this character was kind of, like, lost or gone or missing, not missing, but they weren't there. And I'm not going to elaborate on that more. But it's kind of like so-and-so returned, and then somebody else kind of, returns, but they almost like teleport. And it's like, well, how did so-and-so teleport? And then, there's an area you go to, at one point, towards the end, so you'll get to it. But it's kind of like, well, how did we get here? And, there's just like kind of things that I wish, or they would just explain a little bit more, like how things came to be during those times. And
I think I'm picking up some of the characters you're talking about, especially the last one. I think I know who you're talking about. So
yeah, because I accidentally spoiled it to you before. But and let's see. And one of the things is they clearly make a statement at one point that, and this isn't really spoilers because at this point we already know there's time travel involved in the creation of the Organization 13. But they clearly state at one point, one of the characters says something along the lines of, like, most of Organization 13 is via time travel. So by saying most, it's got to be, more than half. And when you look at the full Organization 13, you're like, there's only like 3 who could have come from the past. So it's kind of like, I want an explanation on who's from the past. Because,
well, I would say there's well over half, I would say, because there's a handful that I can think of that are from now, pretty much. I mean, Terranort, I don't think it's a spoiler because everybody knows that Terra got taken over by Xehanort by this point.
But I don't think that he's from the past.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think
it wouldn't make sense because what was explained, which was a question I had in the past that this kind of answers, when they said that, upon Ansem and Xemnas' defeat, Xehanort return, the question I always had was, well, why doesn't he return as Terranort? Because that's the body that turned into the Heartless and Nobody. So the question of what happened to that body was always, like, up in the air. So by Terranort being in the organization, it kind of answers that question of, he's still there. And we know Xehanort has the ability to split his heart into up to 13 fragments, because the whole point of his organization was that he was putting a piece of his heart in each person. So my theory on that is that Terranort, when he reforms, Master Xehanort kind of like leaves a piece of his heart inside of Terranort and exits the body, or they reform separately and he puts a piece of his heart inside of Terra again. I don't know. See, like, that's another thing that needs to be explained a bit better. Like, there are things that you could kind of piece together by yourself, but piecing it together by yourself leaves too many possibilities and unanswered, like, possibilities. Like,
and you can always be wrong too.
Yeah. So, and I'm still waiting to find out why Xemnas can't use a Keyblade.
That is so true, dude. Yeah. I mean, the whole lightsaber fingers is cool and all, but it's just like, why can't you use a Keyblade? So, I didn't think about that until my brother said something about it. I was like, you're so right. Xehanort can use one. Why can't Ansem and Xemnas?
Nomura had said, like, it's possible, like, his answer to that question was, it's possible Xemnas wasn't using it on purpose or something like that. But I'm like, okay, so tell us why, because that's a huge plot hole. The whole reason he wanted Roxas in his organization during 358 Days Over 2 was because he needed someone to use the Keyblade. Like, that was the whole purpose. So it's like, if he had the ability to use the Keyblade, why didn't he use it? Like, what's the reason for it? And another question that comes from that is, oh crap, I had something and then I kind of just like lost it because I was focused on that question. But you see what I'm getting at. There's like a lot of questions that you could kind of answer by just saying like, oh, that's how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, that's not good enough, you know?
It's like, I need more.
And it's not like, I feel like, I don't think that's being entitled. It's like, you told a story and you left out an important piece. So it's kind of, you know, are you going to tell that piece or are you just going to ignore it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and how did he get those laser hands? They kind
Is he a Sith Lord now? I mean,
they kind of hint that he was able to use it as, you know, as young Xehanort, because young Xehanort was a secret boss in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, I think, or Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. One of the Final Mixes. I think it was the first game. And when you go to Hollow Bastion, he's like an optional, like an extra boss. And he keeps
Old
the hood
man
on.
Xehanort is?
No, young Xehanort.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he uses the laser hands. So you're kind of like, okay, so young Xehanort can use this, but then he doesn't use it anymore after that, and then it still doesn't explain like how he got it. So, you know, they kind of like raise more questions than they answer it a lot.
Okay. Which I actually did not know that about.
Yeah, and all
young
the stuff
Xehanort,
I'm talking about isn't spoilers, because I'm just staying away from spoiling 3, but the other stuff is older games. And stuff
I started to say, I just need to play
going
catch
into
up
3 anyway. So
yeah, and I've gotten caught up a little bit because they do interject a good bit of story. Like I think one of the characters you were talking about, the 13th organization member, it was explained how he was there, and I was like, oh, that's how you're still here, and the other person that you're somehow related to is also here. So that made sense. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, 13. It's just. Most of them are from the past, from what I've seen. It's a lot of.
I don't know.
A lot of people.
The only ones I know for a fact are from the past, or have to be, are the actual incarnations of Xehanort himself, because obviously
Ansem and Xemnas would technically be too, right?
Ansem and Xemnas they have to be from the past, because
because
they
both got
no other
felled
way
by
they
Sora.
can exist, and the same as young Xehanort. So those 3 have to be from the past. There's no other way to explain it. And then after that, it's kind of a mystery as to like who else they can be. And
I guess technically, old man Xehanort is from the past too. Otherwise, he wouldn't have a physical form like that.
No,
so,
I think he's actually there.
Or he has physical form because of his other selves being there. Something like that.
See, I don't. That's the thing. There's too many like unknowns, and
Plot hole.
It's like, are they plot holes, or were they just not explained well?
Yeah,
because I would believe both. Like, oh man, and I really love. Kingdom
once
Hearts.
I beat the game, I feel like I have a lot of answers.
Yeah, it's still like my favorite series, but like all these questions. Maybe it's kind of also part of the reason I love it, because I like thinking about it and like filling up my head with this lore and like, like connecting the dots, like solving a puzzle. But at the same time, it kind of hurts when things go unanswered for so long. Like Xemnas was introduced in Kingdom Hearts 2. Was that at least about 10 years ago? Yep. And it's like, we still don't know why he can't use the Keyblade. So it's like, that makes me feel like it's never going to be explained.
And some fan speculation is good and healthy for a fan base. I mean, look at the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. It just fed off of it, theory after theory after theory. And some of those came to fruition in the games. But you do have to throw your fans a bone in a little once in a while and say, yeah, this is why this is the way it is. So you got to have some bit of correlation to it.
It makes me question if Nomura even knows the answer himself, or like if there's a plot hole and his answer is like almost like a cover-up, like, maybe he just wasn't doing it on purpose. It's like, okay,
it's a question answering a question.
Oh, I remember the other thing I was going to say before. In Kingdom Hearts 1, they kind of like established that the Keyblade is the only weapon that can release the heart from defeating a Heartless. But then, like, after that entry, we see whenever anybody fights a Heartless, like, the heart leaves the Heartless. So it's like, is that a plot hole? Yeah.
It's like, so Sora, Goofy and Donald are literally killing people when they defeat Heartless. Otherwise, because Sora has to do all the fighting. It's like, Sora, you do all the fighting.
I think the explanation or intention was that if anybody without a Keyblade kills a Heartless, the heart that was inside of it remains consumed by darkness. And I think
okay, and it just goes back to the darkness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the Keyblade is the only one that actually like frees it from darkness. So like the Keyblade's the only one that can actually eliminate Heartless. Otherwise, anyone else who defeats a Heartless, kind of just the Heartless comes back.
Huh.
So, and then it's like after that, it's just like they kind of ignore that. Like especially during that battle in Kingdom Hearts 2 against the 1,000 Heartless or something.
Yep.
It's like, wasn't Goofy and Donald fighting side by side with you?
Yep.
I suppose them eliminating some Heartless just to kind of make it easier for the person with the Keyblade. I mean, like if somebody's picking a fight with you, you're gonna stand up for yourself. But like, I guess you can say that they're fighting for the sake of not just getting wrecked.
Yeah,
like they know
1,000 to 1.
I suppose anyone without a Keyblade will just know that they're not like freeing the heart, but like it's going to return to the darkness. But they kind of make a big deal out of it in the first game, and then they just kind of ignore that. So I guess whenever somebody defeats a Heartless without a Keyblade, they're just gonna come back.
I guess so. That would explain it. That also explains why every time you go back to Worlds, there's still Heartless. So
yeah, unless but you have the Keyblade, so
I mean,
they should be going away.
Every other Disney character knocks them out too.
There's also another like question I have is all the Heartless with emblems were the ones that were artificially made by Ansem, either Ansem the Wise or Xehanort. So how are there so many, and how do they keep forming on different worlds? Like, I'm assuming they kind of leaked into like the darkness with the rest of the Heartless, and maybe they reproduce the same way by like pulling the hearts out of, because we see a soldier in the first game, in the very beginning in Traverse Town. A soldier is an emblem Heartless. So it's an artificial Heartless, or an artificially created Heartless, but it's still a Heartless. And
I never noticed that.
Yeah, the ones without the emblems, like the shadows and the dark side and stuff, those are natural Heartless. They're called pure blood Heartless. And the other ones that have the emblem on it, the like red heart with the cross through it, those are artificially created. They're just
wow.
Heartless.
I'm such a terrible fan. I never knew that.
That's okay.
I never knew that.
I'm just a super fan. Like, so I know too much.
Same thing with the Unversed.
No.
Oh.
That's exclusive to Heartless.
Okay, cool.
For some reason.
And then all the nobodies have the nobody symbols. That is cool, dude. That's cool.
And the reason why there's less nobodies is not only because a lot of the Heartless were artificially created, but also when you lose your heart, you're not guaranteed to become a nobody. It's only people with a strong enough will, I believe. So, and then I believe the nobodies form in Twilight Town, and that's why that's like the first time you see them. And I guess they kind of stick together in packs, so it's like the organization members kind of lead them. And I guess that's their explanation as to why you haven't encountered nobodies in the first game. But I think the reason that you keep seeing more and more Emblem Heartless is probably because maybe they breed the same way, or reproduce the same way, from like taking someone's heart and then... Yeah, actually, I think that makes sense, because I think when... like the NPC who lost his heart to a Heartless in Traverse Town in the first game, I think that heart becomes another soldier, which is an Emblem Heartless. So I think I answered my own question. That the Emblem Heartless multiply just like the regular ones, but they were artificially created.
Okay.
I guess I answered my own question there.
Hey,
which is another thing that I love about Kingdom Hearts, because like the satisfaction of solving a puzzle, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't mind that when the answer is out there, but when it's not out there, and you've been sitting on it for like 10 years, like, why can't Zen misuse the Keyblade? I keep going back to that, because that's the perfect example of like a questionable up in the air plot hole potential. I don't know, because Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, which is Xehanort's Heartless, he technically couldn't use the Keyblade until they formed the Keyblade. What is it called? I think it was like the Keyblade of Hearts or the Keyblade of Man. I forget the technical name of it, but it's the one formed from the 7 pure lights from the Princesses of Heart. So the whole point of the first game was that he was trying to make that Keyblade. And I guess that's the only time he was able to use it. He possessed Riku, that's how he got his form. And Riku was able to use a Keyblade, so I suppose he wasn't able to until he possessed Riku, and even still he couldn't use it on his own, I suppose? I don't know. I guess so. And I just don't know why Xemnas couldn't use it then.
Yeah, yeah. That would have been a really cool Kingdom Hearts 2 final battle if he had a Keyblade. I mean, it was already cool enough, but it just would have been that much cool. Like, whoa, he's got a Keyblade too.
Someone pointed out something really neat in Kingdom Hearts 2 at the end when you beat Xemnas. His last word is Keyblade. Like when he before he disappears, he just goes Keyblade. And someone was wondering or theorized that he could have been referring to the original Keyblade, the one that Xehanort was trying to form, because it's pronounced the same way. Whereas I think it was written out in text like the same as the newer,
like a modified X blade.
Yeah, but I think the way it was written out was just normal KEY. But that was also, I think that also came out before
Birth by Sleep and all that.
Keyblade was ever even mentioned. So it could have been a retcon, or it could have been like a misunderstanding on the reader's part, like intentionally, like we're making you think that he's saying Keyblade, but he's actually referring to another Keyblade. So I don't know, but the fact that he even says Keyblade as he's dying, like maybe it's out of like he doesn't understand why he can't use a Keyblade or something. Could be tied to why he doesn't use it. See, a lot of the questions and answers about Kingdom Hearts are a lot of times how you feel about it. And a lot of times the answer is magic. It's like the magic, and now time travel is one of the solutions. Yeah. Because of time travel and because of magic.
I mean, it's Disney. Magic's going to have some role to play in each of these worlds. So, I mean,
which I don't mind as long as there's some logic behind the magic. Like, you can't just say, everybody died because of magic. It's like, well, how did that magic cause everybody to die? And that's and that's not based on anything. I'm just saying that as an example. Like, there was no part where magic caused everybody to die. I'm just saying for the sake of example. I don't want any to be like, did you spoil something? Like, no.
Yeah, no spoilers there.
It's like, why did
time everybody died was a great Keyblade.
Why did Pluto's head explode? Because of magic. Well, okay, but why did magic cause his head to explode? It's like there has to be some logic behind it.
No, Pluto. But I do like how they leave some mystery. It's like, why are the toys, how do they have hearts in this world? And that's mentioned in the story to an extent. How does Baymax have a heart? And just all these different other, it's like, how does so-and-so have a heart? And it's a toy, it's a robot. It's a
heart in Kingdom Hearts is not like a physical heart.
Exactly,
it's kind of like emotion. It's kind of like heart and soul. So it's like nobody takes the soul, and the Heartless takes the heart, I guess, and not a physical heart. Because technically the nobodies have hearts because they're bodies, but I mean, I'm talking about the organ heart. Like, they don't actually have the heart, like the Kingdom Heart.
It's the essence of who the person is in the series,
And something that was also explained in older games, which kind of helps to answer some questions that people might have playing 3, is that it was established, I don't remember by who, but I think it was Xemnas intentionally lied to the organization about hearts, in terms of all the nobody. Like, even if you're a nobody, you can form a heart over time, which is why.
Whoa.
Which is why, like, Roxas kind of began to feel, and Axel began to feel, because they kind of start to form hearts. So he actually kind of lied about it and said, like, you know, you need to get a heart to become whole again. So that kind of, I guess, could answer any questions people might have going in, like, when they say that, like, Roxas's heart is inside of Sora's. Like, that's why, because he formed a heart during his time as Roxas.
Oh, cool.
So it's like little things like that. It's like connect the dots, and I'm like the Kingdom Hearts lore master. It's like, got a question? Bring it up and I'll answer it.
I'm like the 20Q of Kingdom Hearts, bro.
Yeah. But there's still some scenes and stuff that just, like, questions are unanswered, and
yeah,
I kind of came up with theories as to how they can work out, and that's something I would like to discuss in whenever we do that discussion. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Was there anything else about Kingdom Hearts you wanted to talk about?
Just that I'm near the end, so hopefully we can do that discussion soon. Like I said, I'm at the last world, and I am so excited to see what happens, because there's already been some crazy stuff that's gone down, and we're not done saving everybody yet in the game, so I'm excited. I'm excited.
So I have a question for you based on what you went through, and I'm going to have to say this as non-spoiler as I can, and you could just kind of say yes or no, because I'll know what you mean. But when you went to that, like, place where you had to collect stuff, did you talk to those two NPCs that actually had a cutscene?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, but is playing Kingdom Hearts, kind of put that in the back of your head, so when you get to that point, try to find those two NPCs.
And talk to all the NPCs.
Yeah, talk to all of them.
Yeah.
Only two of them are actually voiced and become cutscenes, and the rest are kind of just dialogue, and they're like random people. And that's kind of the best way I can say that without spoiling anything.
Yeah,
and
because
you could kind of like understand once you get there. You'll be like, oh, okay, I should talk to everybody here.
And trust me, you don't want that part of the game ruined, because it's very interesting.
I can't say anything about it,
yeah.
but basically when you
we can next week.
Yeah, or whenever we discuss it. But basically, if you're playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and you haven't gotten to the end yet, at some point at the end, you'll reach a point where you have the opportunity to talk to a bunch of NPCs. And there are two of them that are kind of like secret, not so secret, and they turn into like cutscene interactions. And one of them is a character we know, and the other is a character that nobody knows yet. And I think the credits, well, I don't want to say what the credits say.
I think I know who the other one is. I do.
Yeah, I have a theory as to who it is also, based on Kingdom Hearts Union Cross.
Okay.
And again, we could delve into that, but people are suspecting there's two characters from the cell phone game, that it could be one of those two. And I have a hunch as to, like, I feel like I know which one it is, but it could probably be either.
I actually think it's someone from the series itself. I mean, well, from one of the other games in the series. I don't think it's... I mean, this person might be in Union Cross. I don't think they are, but I think
Well, here's the thing. It's a new voice actor, so this voice is not tied to any character who's appeared so far.
Oh, so this character is a completely new voice. I thought it sounded familiar.
Unless they decided to give, like, an old character a new voice, which is possible. But they were credited as, like, nameless blank. And I say blank because I don't want to, like, spoil or anything. But it's, like, nameless something. So it's, like, they don't even give the character a name. And we don't, like, that voice actor hasn't voiced any other character in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay. It sounded like another character, so that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
okay.
So it has to be somebody who we've never heard them speak before.
That had to be one of the cell phone games then, yeah.
Yeah. And like I want to talk more about it, but I can't
Yeah.
without spoiling it. So we'll discuss that when we have that discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Brandon or Ryan, or I should say Papagenos or Rick or Ryan, for the viewers, because that's how they know them. But I don't know when they intend on finishing Kingdom Hearts 3 or if they're going to. I know Papagenos gave his PS3 to somebody or PS4 to a friend to play to beat Kingdom Hearts 3 because their PS4 broke. So I have no idea when he's gonna even play it, but
he is a good friend for doing that.
Yep.
He is a really good friend for doing that. Everybody needs a friend like Papagenos in their life.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of like a couple of people I can get on this discussion. And there are some people I have in mind who haven't gotten back to me, and that's probably because they have huge fan followings, and my asking them if they could join in the discussion was probably lost in a sea of comments, which is unfortunate, but I would love to have, like, I know for certain Derek Bittner from Game Explain is a big Kingdom Hearts fan. And
okay.
Obviously, he finished Kingdom Hearts 3, and then Ash Paulson is playing it. So I would love to have them in on the discussion, but I can't even get in touch with them, which is a shame.
Which a lady, I've watched some of her videos, Belle Aim. She's actually done a decent amount of Smash stuff, like Smash Classic mode with Derek. And so I think he's a little open to collabs if you can get in touch with him.
I mean, I can't speak for him.
Which I don't know. He might be dating her. He might know her as a friend. I don't know. So
I feel like he would definitely be open, but the problem is getting in touch with him. Because he's probably, like, Game Explain, they're ridiculously busy. And I give them major props. Like, I love those guys. I don't even know them. I just mean, like, I love them because what they do, they work so hard and they're so passionate about it. And the stuff they put out is just, like, the quality is amazing. Like, I'm a huge fan of Game Explain. Which is why I usually mention them a lot, because sometimes the information I get that I pass on the podcast is something like, I remember it from one of their videos and I was like, oh yeah, and this came out, That's not to say copying them or anything. It's just, I'll remember a piece of information because I had just listened to like their podcast earlier or like the night before, and I'm like, oh yeah, that game came out this week or something. Cause like maybe I don't really play it or something, but yeah, if anybody listening to this would like to have them on the show, then please reach out to them because I've failed to. I don't know if you know anybody, Alpha, who would love to be on, but like we could reach out to some people. I just don't know who else to really ask.
I do need to. I asked my friend Ethan Eviseptile if he would join us, and he's open to it. We need to just schedule a time when to. I've asked him a couple times, and he said, "Yeah, sure." We just need to. So, which he's kind of a little guy like us, so that's all right.
There's one Kingdom Hearts YouTuber that I think he's called the Gamers Joint. He would probably be interesting to have on because he does a lot of Kingdom Hearts videos. I don't know. I hope he's not mad or anything, because there was, I was like teased him in a comment, like playing around, and I hope I didn't come off as like not playing around, because it's always hard to like read a comment, like read sarcasm in a comment. And that was a while ago. I haven't interacted with him, so I hope that if he read that, he's not mad.
Yeah.
It was just like,
that's why I usually put like hashtag sarcasm or something if I'm
I think it was because he like kept pronouncing names wrong, and I was just like, it's like driving me crazy. Like it's this, not that, and it's like it's Marluxia, not Marluxia. Like and like
I just think it was Marluxia too until this game.
Yeah, me too. So. But like they eventually said it, and I'm very nitpicky with certain pronunciations and stuff, and like starts to drive me crazy. That's like I suppose a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
So when he was mispronouncing stuff, and then like I made that comment, it wasn't out of hatred or anything. It was kind of like my intention was kind of joking around. So if he did read that, I hope he knows that I'm, I wasn't trying to poke fun of him or anything, but it'd be cool if I get him on. I don't know how many people. I really don't know many Kingdom Hearts fans, like big Kingdom Hearts fans, so I really don't know.
Yeah.
And reaching out to these people is difficult. Like, I've tried to reach out to a few people, and they don't respond. It's like, it's probably because, no ill intention, just probably get a lot of comments, so...
Oh, yeah. I'm sure big YouTubers get all the time, hey, would you like to help us with this? And you can't do it with everybody for sure.
Yeah.
There's got to be a selective process because then everybody's like, well, you collab with them. Why didn't you collab with me? So, I mean, I can definitely see. I mean, I'm not huge by any measure. I mean, 2,000 subscribers is nothing on YouTube. But as a growing YouTuber, you have to know where to pick your collabs and where to put your time in, because even stuff like I was just on Schmidt Time's Got a Minute series. I did a video narration for Duck Hunt, and I love that because I love his videos. Go check out Got a Minute. Quick shout out. But I love his stuff, and so I wanted to collab with him. I reached out to him, and he was like, "Yes, I'd love to have you help me, pal." And if you watch his videos, you know how he talks like that. And it was a fun experience. And I told him, dude, thank you so much. As a fan, it was great to be on here. He said, it was great having you on, pal. It was really fun to collab with you. I was just like, I love experiences like that. Because I'm a big fan of crossovers anyway. So when you get people together on YouTube, like I flipped out when Brian Hull and Caleb Hiles did a collab song together. I was like, oh my gosh, because I love both those dudes' song covers. And just to see them come together, it's beautiful when you see two YouTubers you love and you're so passionate about collab on something, even if it's something like singing a song or doing some stupid random video. It's just like, I love this.
I think that's kind of the secret formula of why Game Grumps became so popular in the beginning, because JonTron and Egoraptor were two big YouTubers, and it's like, oh, they're collaborating. Even if they're just playing video games, like the fact that they're talking together and you can like listen to their joking and conversations was what the entertainment was. And
so they're Game Grumps.
What?
The John and Egoraptor are Game Grumps? I thought it was like Danny and
now it's Danny. John eventually left, and there's a whole controversy on like a whole mystery controversy on like why he left, and people have been trying to dig up stuff, and that's not what I'm going to get into, but I want to talk about the fact that Danny joined, and I started to like Danny because after he joined, because I didn't really know much about him. I think I had seen like a couple of his stuff beforehand. I was like, oh, this guy's pretty funny. But then I got used to him being on Game Grumps, and I enjoyed him on there too. He's pretty funny. But I think the initial collaboration between Egoraptor and JonTron was what really caused it to skyrocket and become so popular, because it was two famous YouTubers. That's not to say Danny's wasn't famous. I have no idea what his level of stardom was at the time, so I honestly don't know. But I do know JonTron and Egoraptor were, like, famous, and so them joining together is what probably one of the biggest reasons as to why it became so popular.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the biggest collaborations at the time, and I guess it still is technically, but, what I'm getting at is the formation of it. But anyway, not to trail off on a tangent, I think the only YouTuber who I reached out to, who responded, who I didn't know prior, because I knew you prior thanks to Discord. But the only YouTuber I personally reached out to and got a response was Papagenos. So, like, he's the only one that had actually responded to my request. So, that gives me even more respect for him. And that's not that's not to say I don't have respect for people who don't get back to me, because I understand that it's most likely because people are really busy and they probably get a lot of messages. But when you do hear back from someone and they are like, yeah, let's collaborate, it means a lot,
Especially when you're a fan of that person. When Wreck-It Ryan and I collabed the first time, I was in hog heaven because I was in love with this dude's videos, and just getting to talk with you and him and Brandon, just not just as YouTubers, but now as friends. Mm-hmm. It's just so cool to see it come full circle. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't just watch these people's videos, but man, I'm friends with them on the internet, Yeah. It's just, it makes it so much more fun and cool when you actually know that person through the internet, not just you watch their videos. It's when you've done stuff with that person, you've done discussions with that person, you've actually had conversation with that person besides a YouTube comment. It's just, it makes it so much more personal. It makes you enjoy their stuff so much more. And of course, props to both of them for growing since the Shantae stuff and since Smash came out. I mean, Papa's at almost 22,000 subs right now, so
Oh my god,
that's awesome. Or it might be more than that now. I forget.
that's
Might be
awesome.
closer to
That's
25.
great for him.
Yeah,
Man, I'm
dude.
so happy for everyone. I just wish that like I could eventually reach that.
Yeah, it takes
I
time, man.
have some
It took me
ideas. I
years.
have some ideas for content to put on the channel. That's not GG gaming related, and I'm just like curious how I would be implementing them because I don't really know how to like. What software do you use when you
I
edit
use
your video?
Camtasia.
And so, how do you get stuff to move around on the screen?
What do you mean, like
Just
when you
like having
record?
like images pop up and like move and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. It's
That
all in the editing software. You just
okay.
you click on the picture and it's like edit animation and stuff, and you could just take it off the screen and then either make it slide in or like swirl in or
Hmm.
whatever. So it's just and it varies by platform. My friend Evie Septile is able to do stuff on his software that I can't do on Camtasia. Camtasia is
Hmm.
honestly very limited, and maybe one day I'll drop it for a more advanced software. But it's what I know, and I'm not a stickler for change. So, but it definitely depends on the software, and you have to learn it. And once you do, you just kind of fall into the swing of it. I mean, it took me a while to get to where I'm regularly editing videos with a decent amount of motion and you know fading effects and animation. And obviously, it's not like full blown like animatics like a lot of these big YouTubers are, and they can pay to have commissions of their animated intros and stuff. But I mean, I'm proud of it, and it's a long way from where I used to be talking with a pitiful HP webcam mic and crappy lighting and just awful quality. And I see how far I've come, and it's just like just taking extra time and effort to really put into editing and not just talking to a screen for 30 minutes and having awful lighting, sound, just editing time. It takes time, but man, the outcome's so worth it when you take the time to learn software and stuff. And I'm still learning. Obviously, it's a growing process, and I edit more for certain games and series. Happy Wheels is one of those. I love doing editing for that because it's just you really don't have to edit that much. You just add some sound effects and stuff, and the game takes care of the rest because it's Happy Wheels. So, but like theory videos and stuff, you have to add. Okay, what picture do I add here? And for my Shantae video, you notice when I was talking about her transformations and stuff, and said for hair whips, I threw in a gif of Willow Smith doing "whip my hair" because hair whips, and just trying to make it funny like that. Just trying to throw a little bit of humor in there. I've learned to try and just throw humor in there while also making sensible references. And if it's like people are watching it, it's like, oh hey, I get that joke. I mean, that's what I live for. I love just random jokes and stuff, and I've found that's kind of my video making. I just love to make random. Like that's the thing. I scream and I shout and make random noises. I don't really do much else besides that when I react and stuff. So I love doing YouTube and just seeing how far. I know I'm rambling. I'm sorry, but
No, that's fine.
just learning software is a big thing. So I mean, Camtasia is a good place to start. You get a 30-day free trial, and
How much does it cost?
it's like $300. So
Well, it's
there
probably
are
worth
ways
it.
to work around that, but we can talk about that later. But I mean, it's a good starting point, but it's just one I've learned, and I'm like, I like it. It's not 60 frames per second. Obviously, that's kind of a hindrance to some videos, but I mean, as long as I've got people watching my stuff, and as long as I'm enjoying it, it's fairly easy for me to do. I'm going to keep probably using this, but it definitely depends on the software that you use. Each one's different. Each one has different. Some you can reverse footage, some you can't. Camtasia is one of those, and of course you can always add music and add pictures and stuff. So it depends on the software. That was a very long drawn out explanation, but it just depends on what software, and it just takes time to learn it. So.
Well, then I have a potential proposition to anybody listening to this who knows how to do editing like that and slight animation and stuff. I'm looking for somebody to pick up the mantle of where my animator left off for my motion comic, as well as potentially looking for someone to edit some of my videos that I have planned that I haven't really done anything because I don't really know how to edit that to that degree. And I'm kind of busy with other projects. But I would like to start a show discussing theories, and not like a game theory, but like theories like like why things work in certain games, like the Kingdom Hearts discussion that I like to have. And
Yeah.
I would also really like to start a show, because I have some weird obsession with timelines and chronology, and so I would love to make a.
That's why you like Legend of Zelda so much.
and I have this I really want to make a show where like in each episode I kind of create the timeline for some kind of series, like I want to tackle, which I already have tackled. I have it written out. The Sonic the Hedgehog timeline that includes everything. And so I would love to, and I had started to like years ago, but it's updated since then anyway, so it's already different. And, I would love to make timeline videos like this, and I already have like a name in mind for the quote unquote show. And, I want to make videos discussing timelines and how one thing would lead into the next, like the reasoning behind its placement and stuff. And I would need somebody to edit stuff because I don't really know how to do that. And my focus in terms of my time on projects is usually like working on my websites or my comics or my full-time job, or, so I would love to have somebody do that. So anybody listening who kind of knows how to do that, you can write in the comments like, oh, I know how to do that, and try to reach out to me, and I'll get back to you. Because I could use an editor, especially because one of the things we talked about, I talked about it with Ryan on the show, but we had discussed it with you too. One of the things we would like to do is do like a D&D campaign, live, or live stream it, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. And so if anybody knows how to deal with that stuff, like properly, like professionally, or even just for fun, I don't know it as in depth. So if somebody wants to help out with that, that'd be great, Like, I'm totally willing to bring people on board to help this thing grow, help this channel. Or not specifically my channel, but I mean like to help all of us as a group, like get these things going and maybe form our own channel eventually. And, so there are these plans that we kind of need help to get going. Other than that, it's kind of like slow updates, unfortunately, because we don't have so much help. But yeah. Did you have any other games in mind or anything else you want to talk about?
I do. Before I say something about games, I do have to ask: is that I'm just curious? The timeline gaming thing, is it called Game Time?
No.
Okay,
but that is a nice name.
I was thinking of that.
Why does that exist?
It's Game Time.
Does that exist?
Literally. No, I just thought of it. I was like, I wonder if it's Game Time.
If I wind up liking that more, I might use that.
Okay. You heard it here, folks. But as far as game stuff, today is the 26th we're recording this, and tomorrow is Pokemon Day, and there's going to be a Pokemon Direct, and I am so psyched for that.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons I wanted to have Papagenos on today, but he couldn't make it. Was because he had just put up a video like a half hour before we started recording, or an hour, about his predictions. And I didn't get to watch it because I was watching your video and I was a bit busy, so I didn't have time to listen to like a longer video. So I'd like to listen to that later, but I would have loved to, fresh off of editing that video and uploading it, I would have liked to get his like any additional thoughts before tomorrow. But I guess he wasn't. I guess he was busy. He said he something was going on. Like he wasn't sure. Had a schedule. Like he wasn't sure what his family's plans were. So, things come up. But what are your thoughts on the Direct tomorrow? I didn't even really know there was a Direct until I saw people discussing it. I was like, there's a Direct tomorrow.
I didn't either until someone. I think I saw it was either a YouTube thumbnail or something on Twitter. And I was just like, wait, Pokemon Direct? What? And so I was very excited immediately. What I'm thinking is going to happen is we're going to get Gen 8 announced. That's probably the most obvious thing that could happen. They showed us a picture of 3 Pokeballs. Obviously, that happens when you pick a starter.
They did? And I didn't see any pictures.
It was on Twitter and Instagram
Was
because
it
I follow
like
both of them.
a game screenshot of two?
No, it was just like a white background, the Pokemon logo, and 3 Pokeballs that said, "This is the only hint you get until tomorrow, trainers."
Like
Winky
2D
face.
Pokeballs, like drawn out, or
Oh, they were 3D.
oh, what was the graphics nice?
It just kind of like a standard 3D Pokeball.
Oh, okay.
Like
HD
but
Pokeball.
I do think we're gonna get Gen 8 tomorrow. At least get the starters and possibly the box art legendaries
I was
revealed.
thinking the reverse. I was thinking like we would get the box art and then possibly the starters.
Okay. I feel like we'll probably get the titles
What
at
did
the
we
very
get
least.
for Gen 7 first? I think we got the
starters.
box art first. We got the starters first?
No, we got the titles first because it was it all comes together in one grand adventure. It said Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, and then I think we got the starters next because I think Solgaleo and Lunala closed out the trailer showing off Popplio, Rowlet, and Litten. I'm pretty sure, if memory serves. But that's where I fell in love with Popplio. I was like, oh, so
Poplio's adorable.
I know, dude. I was like, how do people hate this thing? That's a whole nother video. But but I really do think we're gonna get Gen 8 announced. Things I'm hoping for in this game, new Megas. Calling it hopefully now, Mega Stoutland. That would be great. Fur coat. That would be awesome.
People don't. There's a lot of complaints about Megas, but I actually really like them. I think they're they're a unique unique. What's the word I'm looking for? Other than saying thing, a unique thing to like implement in battle, a unique implementation in battle. And it's like, it's kind of balanced maybe because a lot of competitive play uses or relies on items like focus sash and things like that. And if you have a Mega, it's kind of like they can't hold an item. So it's a little balanced in that regard, but also they're just like a lot stronger. So I can understand why it's also annoying, especially when you have something like Mega Rayquaza who can still hold an item.
Exactly. And that's like the most broken Mega. It's like I have 180 in both attacks and I can hold a life orb. Come at me. Come
at me, bro.
Yes, it's just like, oh, ice type moves. Oh, that's cute. I got Delta Stream. I'll just shrug it off. The only thing it doesn't have is a recovery move. That's the only thing that thing lacks. That's the only negative it has. Besides rest, obviously, but yeah, you wouldn't use that on there. But I'm one of those fans. Like I said, I'm a stickler for change in pretty much any series. And Pokemon was one of those. When Gen 6 got announced and I saw the Megas, I was like, I don't like this. No. No, just give them stat buffs. And, of course, I got Stoutland with a stat buff. Woo, woo. So I'm glad he got some more attack. But then when I saw the starters, I was like, okay, I like this now. Mega Charizard. I love Charizard X, but I still love Y. They're both great, but I like Y just a little bit more because it just enhances Charizard that much more. But they're both so sick. I love them both.
I think the idea, design-wise, behind the Mega Evolutions was like, if the artists were to redesign, like if they were modern Pokemon. I think that was the intention behind the designs, like what they would probably look like if they were designed nowadays instead of back in the day.
Yep. Or if they played uniquely like Kangaskhan. I love Mega Kangaskhan, not just not because she broke the game pretty much, but just the uniqueness of parental bond, and it really put to use the whole baby in a pouch thing. It's just it's not just there dangling anymore, being a little punching bag. It's there fighting with its mom.
It's so
and just stuff like that. I know, I love how they incorporated Mega Evolution to be so creative. Like Glalie, its mouth is literally broken agape and spewing blizzards. Mega Houndoom looks sick. Like I said, the Charizards look amazing. I mean, Ampharos has glorious hair. I love how they did so many things that made the Pokemon that much more cool looking. Like even the cool ones, like I already said, Houndoom and Charizard and Blastoise and Venusaur and stuff. Sometimes it's just bigger flower on the butt. Sometimes it's just bigger cannon on the back. But the way they play differently with Thick Fat and Mega Launcher and Drought and just all these insane abilities, you already take a great Pokemon and then you slap a great ability and improve its stats, and it's just like, it plays totally different. I mean, and it revived so many, like Lopunny, and again, Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan was such an obscure Pokemon, and now
right?
What, Lopunny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard people say Lopunny, and it's
Yeah.
just because Bunny's Lop. I think that's what it
Yep.
is.
It's a lop.
But yeah,
Bunny.
but I love, especially when Mega Lopunny got announced. I was just like, oh, this is so cool, dude. It just, and I love the ability Scrappy anyway. And so, I mean, I've always liked Lopunny. It's always just been like, it's always so cute and fluffy and stuff. People loot it to death, sadly, but it's just, I loved its Mega because it's just like, it took this adorable, cute Pokemon and made it that, but tough. So I love how it's basically, like you said, a reimagining and a redesigning of what these Pokemon would play like in a different world. And according to Pokemon logic, that's kind of the lore of the game. That's kind of how it is because of the different worlds between certain games and stuff. But you got to play the games to understand that because there's possibly different timelines and universes and stuff. Anyway, and then Gen 7 rolled around and Alolan forms got announced. I was just like, I don't like this. And then I played them and I was like, I like this. Ultra Beasts, I don't like this. I played them. I like this. So it takes time for me to, I mean, when I first used like Buzzwole and Pheromosa and stuff, I was just like, dude, these guys are so cool. And one thing I love about the Ultra Beasts is most of them have such specific strengths and weaknesses. Like there's so many things that's like, oh, this thing is super fast and super powerful, but it has abysmal defenses. I mean, Pheromosa, Blacephalon, etc. And they're OP, but there's ways to work around them. So they are fairly balanced, especially compared to some legendaries. But I would say Celesteela is probably the most imbalanced of all of them, and maybe Pheromosa if you can't kill it before it kills you. So, but that's one thing I've learned as a Pokemon fan. Don't always jump to hate on something just because it's a new idea. Because Sun and Moon turned out to be some of my favorite games in the series. I loved Moon dearly, the Pokemon and I love Hawaii and Polynesian stuff to start with, and so that soundtrack had me hooked from the beginning. And then the Elite Four music, I was like, oh yes, it was just a great game for me, and just that's what I'm hoping the Switch version, the Switch Pokemon Gen 8 brings. That it brings its A game. It's the Breath of the Wild and the Super Mario Odyssey of Pokemon. I know that set my expectations high, and I probably should set them lower, but man, the Switch can handle it, and I'm just hoping that Game Freak takes the reins. It's like, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going gung-ho on this series, and I think Papa Gino said it best when he said, this needs to be like Breath of the Wild and Odyssey to succeed, because Pokemon needs to play catch-up, and it needs to really be where consoles are at graphically and gameplay-wise.
Pokemon Ketchup and Pokemon Mustard.
Yes. And then the sequel, Mayo.
The third one, even though they don't do thirds anymore, but the third one would be Pokemon Relish.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very hopeful that we're going to... I think the most reasonable expectation is Gen 8 and at least the starters and probably the names and possibly
what kind
the
of
box art
gameplay
legends.
changes, if any, are you hoping to see?
I'm hoping that they don't change it up too much from the regular formula, the specific turn-based, switch out Pokemon and stuff. I hope they don't change it. I don't want it to ever look like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy, personally. But I do hope it kind of just, as long as it sticks to the main aspect of catching and battling, anything else they do, like new forms and new Alolan forms, possibly new whatever region forms, more Mega Evolutions, stuff like that, I wouldn't mind as much. I want the core of Pokemon to always stay the same. I mean, you can always change the peripherals and stuff, but I think the core mechanic of, battling and catching and trading and stuff should never change.
I was trying to think of some potentially unique aspects, like what they could do, and I was wondering if they could somehow implement the idea of MMO in there. And I was thinking about what they used to do in at least Gold and Silver, I think it was Gold and Silver, like when you battle someone, their data can be saved in your game. And I think you could battle them again, like you battle them as a CPU.
Yeah.
So I would love for maybe like when you connect with a player, your game saves their data and they become like an NPC in your world.
Oh, that'd be cool, dude.
And maybe they walk around, like maybe they have their own route that they walk through, and sometimes you'll walk past them and they'll talk to you if you talk to them. And then, like maybe sometimes they'll stop you to battle, Or I don't know how they would implement that, but
or call you up like the PokéNav.
Yeah, the idea of bringing in your friends into your game and having them as NPCs is something that I would love to see.
Almost what Secret Bases did, but more
I
so.
loved Secret Bases.
Yeah.
It's like they always introduce something cool and then they like ditch it after that.
Yeah, it's a shame, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It just, yeah. But yeah, like an open world MMO, I would not mind that one bit. Something like that. Yeah.
See, some people are against MMO and some people are for it, and I think
or not not fully MMO.
Yeah, I think you could find a happy medium, and that's one of the ways to do that. Like, kind of have some NPCs or like a few slots. Like, I don't know what number would match well for because we don't know the size and scope of the region. But let's say, for example, they have like 10 slots to fill, so you can like have up to 10 of your friends become NPCs in that world or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then like if there's a battle tree or whatever, sometimes they'll appear with
that would be so dope.
Like I would love to see them bring in like anyone you connect with, or like really bring that aspect of connection to your game, like outside stuff.
Yeah, because that's what Pokemon is at its core. It's all about trainers and friendship and, collaborating with friends and stuff. Yeah. The power of friendship. So, I mean, and you think about it, that's exactly what Pokemon is. I mean, you're teaming up with your Pokemon to fight other friends, and it's like you become rivals, and it just, man, it's just nostalgia. And I'm really hoping this game is everything that we hope it is. I don't want to set my expectations too high, like Brandon said, but man, it's hard not to for something like Pokemon. It just.
But yeah, I'm also, I would like to see Jim's return.
Oh yeah.
Although, like, cause the challenges, the Alolan challenges or trials or whatever they're called, they did get a little tedious eventually. I was like, all right, just bring me to the battle.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fight. This is a game where we're battling. Like, I don't want to have to track down the Pokemon to make food or something.
Yeah.
Like, I know they were going for something different, but it's like, just bring me back to battling. That's what this is.
It was a good break from the norm. It just doesn't need to be the norm.
But now the OCD in me is like, give me Alolan badges. Because, like, I kind of feel the need to... Like, because Pokemon Center they released these badges, like these frames, like with badges for each region. And I think they have the first 4 regions. And I don't have any of them because they're expensive. And now they're like sold out, some of them. So they're like $700, $800 on eBay. But if I had them, I feel like, well, I would never get anything to represent Alola unless they had like instead of badges, they had all the Z crystals, which would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Which would be really expensive as well, but
So, yeah, I could imagine how awesome it would be to have a Alolan frame with all the Z crystals in there, but
yeah,
I'm also kind of like, give me badges.
They do have some really cool looking badges, honestly, especially Gen 1 bias, but
Yeah, I really want those. Somebody get them for me.
I was considering buying them at one point. I was like, they're cool, but it just sit in a drawer. I mean, I want them, but it's just like it just sit in a drawer.
The frame thing I want on my wall.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean. I bought some fan made badges that they just sit in my drawer, but they're cool. But if I have the frame ones, I can hang them on my wall. It's like,
it's just like once in a while you just pull them out. It's like, yes, I am a master.
I am the master.
I am the very best, like no one ever was.
Well, speaking of Pokemon, I also wanted to talk about Pokemon Go. They finally released Clamperl, Gorbis, and Huntail last weekend. They had the research task events, so I got them finally. And then they also released the camera thing, so you could take AR pictures with Pokemon. And the way they implemented Smeargle was occasionally it'll photobomb one of your photos, and
I heard that, yeah.
The attacks it takes on are the attacks from the Pokemon that it photobombed. So that's an interesting way to implement Sketch. So its move pool is going to be so diverse because it could be any Pokemon that it photopumped.
Oh, yeah.
Although I don't know how competitive it is because it does seem like it's weak. So
Yeah.
I finally got a Smeargle before.
Yeah, I love Smeargle, but it's very interesting how you can use it because it has such pitiful stats, but such an insane move pool.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a strategy I love to use, and I'll give this away because Smeargle is a kind of tough Pokemon to use, but because it has decent HP and awful defenses, I gave that thing Counter and Mirror Coat and Destiny Bond, and then I also have what was it, either Spiky Shield or Stealth Rock, something like that. It's kind of a filler move. Spiky Shield's great for chipping away damage if they have a Focus Sash or something. Then you can use Spiky Shield, take a Fake Out or whatever, breaks their Focus Sash, then you can counter their attack, and then if you're about to die and you're faster, Destiny Bond. So it's just, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just such a technical little Pokemon. It's one of those you can't help but like for its technicality and its diversity. Plus, it's just goofy, and I love it. So,
is it supposed to be a dog?
It's supposed to be a beagle. I think it's literally
okay.
Smear Beagle. So,
oh, that makes sense.
yeah, yep. It's so weird, but it's just one of those Gen 2 Pokemon. It's just like, you're weird, but I like you. So,
or is it based on Schmeagle?
oh, it's a Smeagol.
This is Smeagol. I'll sketch the ring.
He wants to sketch the rings.
He wants to sketch the rings. Hoopa's rings.
I didn't even put that together, but yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
Hoopa rings.
Hoopa's Gollum and Smeargle's Schmeagle. Gollum. Hoopum. Anyway, so I guess that's pretty much it. I really don't know what else we could talk about off the top of my head. I don't know. I think last week I said I beat Resident Evil 2. I played it some more and did the other campaign. Like, I had started with Leon and then finished it with Claire. So then recently I started as Claire and finished it with Leon. So I guess I 100%ed it. And I still have the same issue that I had when I was talking with Papaginos, I think, that, like, it's inconsistent between, like, you play as one character, and then you play as the other character, and, like, things don't line up. You're like, so then, did this character do this, or did this character do that?
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about it, because I have been keeping up with the podcast. Don't think I've been, I've been listening to it on the way to work through my Bluetooth and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and so I remember you saying that, and it is very not good when it breaks that continuity.
Kind of feel like maybe they did it on purpose in order to, like, pay tribute to the original, because the original also was like that, but I also feel like that's something they could have rectified.
Yeah.
Especially now that we have, like, or should have a definitive, like, what happened in 2, now that we're on 7. It's like, can't you just tell us what did happen? Like, an important character dies in 2 different ways, and it's like, what they do in each of those ways is significant. So it's like, how did they do both? Like, did they come back to life and then die again?
Yeah,
like, like and I guess it's not really a spoiler because this happened in 2, or actually, I don't know if it's the same way, but it's like the Sherry's mother, Annette, she does one thing in Leon's scenario where, like, she does something to one character and then she dies, and then in Claire's campaign she does something to, like, save Sherry and then die. So it's like, so was she in 2 places at once and then die? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like,
have you played the DLC?
Yeah, and it's impossible.
Okay.
It's like they actually gave it a training mode, so you can actually play it with, like, more ammo, so it's actually beatable. And the idea is so you could train to play the actual one. But it's like, why did you just make it so hard? Like,
yeah.
But it also,
I was watching Corey Kenshin play it. That's why I was asking, because I knew there was DLC because he's been playing it, and I was just like, wow, I would be so bad at this game.
Yeah, but also it's just like, it's non-canon anyway. Like, Ghost Survivors is like a what-if scenario, because all 3 of those characters, I think, are dead anyway. Like, canonically, at least one of them is canonically dead. That's like the mayor's daughter. Like, when her story starts off, she, like, before she dies, like when she's about to die or something, like she actually saves herself, and like the police chief is the one who kills her and like uses taxidermy to stuff her because he's a psycho. And she actually like fends him off and winds up killing him. And so like in the Ghost Survivors, you play as her to go save her boyfriend. And who's also dead.
He's the one that gets his head crushed by that zombie through the wall, right?
Mr. X, yeah.
Yep.
X Gone gave it to him.
Yeah. When that scene happened, I was just like, oh my goodness. Yeah. I was just like, dang, what a way to die.
Did you see, I forget the YouTuber, but there's a guy who, I guess he modified the animations, but he made the facial expressions at like 500%, and they're hilarious. Honestly, Leon's face is the funniest. Like, when they showed it with, like, when they showed it with Ada, it's just Leon's was the funniest. Like, Leon's face cracks me up. Like, the other faces don't crack. Like, Ben Bertolucci, his face was kind of funny, too. Like, his mouth was so wide. But, like, Leon's face is just hilarious. I think
but especially the Claire and Leon, I mean, the Leon and Ava scene was just... Or is it Ada or Ava?
Ada, with a D.
Ada, okay. But that was just such a funny scene. Because it's like this just deep, emotional scene. And then their faces are like... He looks like he's sucked on like 15 lemons at once. And he's just... okay. And just... It's just great. I remember watching those. I saw them recommended. I was like, I'm gonna watch them.
It's like the twitching.
And I was just rolling.
I love like the twitching in the face because it's like they're supposed to be slight because it's like motion capture, like human faces, but it's like at 500%. They just move so crazy. So he's like constantly twitching, and his eyes keep twitching back and forth because it's like the eyes are moving so rapidly and like so far. It's so funny.
Beautiful.
I love it. It's a piece of art.
Yep. It just is great. I remember I was just like, man, I don't even like Resident Evil, but this is cool. This is funny.
I love Resident Evil.
I did enjoy watching Corey's playthrough because he makes it fun. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I still need to watch his playthrough with Claire though. I finished watching the one with Leon and all the DLC, so I just need to watch his Claire playthrough. So
yeah, I was watching Markiplier play because I like watching his reactions to games I've played. Mm-hmm. I typically usually just watch. I've watched some of the games he plays. Usually, if it's like a game that I really like, so like I watched his Resident Evil 7 playthrough because I wanted to see somebody's commentary on a game I really liked. And it's like, well, what does this guy think of it? And I'm like, I'm a fan of Markiplier, so it's like, well, what does Markiplier think of it? And he's pretty funny about it too. So yeah. So I didn't finish watching his Resident Evil 2 playthrough, but I know he played it. But yeah, Resident Evil 2 is a lot of fun. It's just a little bit annoys, like the inconsistencies in the scenarios kind of annoys me. Like, how does somebody die twice?
I know, right?
In two different places at the same time. Yeah. And it's like characters are in the same places, and it's they're supposed to, like Leon and Claire escape together at the end, but it's like, in each scenario, they're like talking to the other person, like in like through video feed, and when, like at the end of the game, they both make it to the train, but it's like obviously they took about the same route, so so it's like, why didn't, like, I don't know, it's just weird.
And it would make sense if it was completely different storylines and what they did changed the story, but they're in the exact same spot at the exact same time in the story, so you think it would play out the exact same regardless of who you're playing, but hey.
I think canonically they're together and split up on and off. I think in the original one they meet up multiple times, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And then in like the on-rail shooter Darkside Chronicles, they're together the whole time. Like, they put the two characters that you could be, like, they just put them together, and they, like, buddy up throughout. So I guess canonically they are together most of the time. It's just, I don't know. They don't do a good job of explaining that. It's kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I played the game, it was fun. Whatever.
Yeah. So. It's all about experience. Also, we changed up some enemies. The DLC introduced, like, 2 new enemies. One of them was really creepy, and the other was just like zombies with poison. and it was just really
I
annoying.
saw that and I was like, ooh.
don't think it had
Because then you
names.
can get poisoned and you constantly take more damage and it keeps you coughing, right?
Yeah, it's just like you can't aim your gun or like do stuff when he's coughing. The other enemy, the creepy one they added was called Paleheads, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
They like added a new enemy to the lore, but it's like, where are the original Ivies? I'm still annoyed at that.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that too. Yeah,
Like the Ivy in this game is an awesome enemy, but it's not the same. Like it could have just been a different enemy.
because you said originally it's like a mutated plant.
Yeah,
but
it's
this
a plant that-
It's a mutated zombie plant.
Yeah, it's like a plant, and its limbs are like vines, and kind of like walks really slow which makes sense because it's a plant. It's not an animal. So it's like
But in the remake, it's a zombie
they're
controlled
like
by
actual
plants,
I
right?
guess so. They're like zombies that were infected with seeds, or they're like seeds with the virus were like put in their bodies, and they like mutated to it. I'm like, that's cool. That's a cool idea and a cool monster idea, but it's also not the same. So it's like, you should have just made that a different monster. And if you really didn't have room for the Ivy, like the original one, like you could have just put that in the DLC or
call it like the Advanced Ivy or something like that.
Yeah, they did introduce like a new enemy in the DLC. They could have easily put in the original Ivy in there, or even in like one room they could have split it up, because the Ivy kind of appears in a few areas. Like they could have just sprinkled it in somewhere in like one room, and that would have just been enough for me to be like, oh, okay, they didn't forget. So I don't know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We've been talking for a while, so kind of makes up for you not being here for a few weeks, I guess.
Yeah, but like I said, it's good to be back. I have missed it, so.
So I'm gonna be leaving tomorrow, so to go to New Jersey for a week. So I'm actually gonna miss the Pokemon 7-minute direct live because I'll be on the plane.
Well, I'll be at work, so I'll have to wait till later to watch it too.
I'll have to watch it when I get back. Like get home, get off the plane. So I'm excited to see that. But I feel like, unfortunately, it's gonna be spoiled before I watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stay off of YouTube for the whole day.
Yeah, but then you have to get onto YouTube to watch the video, so you're gonna see spoilers on your way to watch the video.
I have ways. When I have to wait to get off work to watch the like Smash Directs and stuff, I have my hand like trying to set up the recording. I have my hand over my eye, so I can only see like my watch later tab and like where I'm subscribed to, and I just scroll down and it's a pain, but it's worth it for that surprise. So
yeah, so I don't know what's going on next week in terms of episode. If nobody else can record, I don't know if you want to do anything on your own or if you just want to skip the week. I guess we could figure that out. I won't have my microphone. I won't have my programs I use because they're on my iMac, the desktop. So yeah, I don't know.
But I should be able to record next week, guys. So don't worry. We'll hopefully have an episode as long as Ryan or Brandon can join us. So look forward to that.
Or you could talk by yourself.
It's true. I might do something. I'll probably.
I've done that before, but it's just it's more enjoyable when you have someone to talk to.
Oh yeah, and bounce ideas off of and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what's going on for next week. And the reason why we didn't get to any comments was because there weren't any. So that's that. Mommy Alpha, where'd you go?
We miss you.
Yeah, come back. Come back to me.
Even though I just saw you in my comment section today, but hey, we miss you here.
All right, so I guess that's pretty much it. And was there any final things you want to say?
Just hope you have a good trip, man. Have a good time.
Thanks, man. And everybody, I guess I will see you soon. Hopefully in 2 weeks. And I want to get that Kingdom Hearts discussion, so
yeah.
So gotta beat that before I come back.
I'll try to.
All right, guys. And as usual, all the links are in the description. And if you follow my Comic Spirit Legends on Tapas, I'll give you a shout out. And nobody's been doing that, but I'll still say it. And yep. We'll see you next time. Bye,
guys. And that's like the most broken mega. It's like I have 180 in both attacks, and I can hold a life orb. Come at me. It's just
Come at me, bro.
Yes,
Come at me, bro.